It's a fun Friday. The only thing I don't have on my face is the red nose. Hold on, let me do that again.
Oh, we are streaming. We are live right now. You cannot do it again.
Are you serious?
Yes, it's a HIVE Live.
It's a fun Friday. Let's start it off with a bang right here, Locked On Hornets podcast.
You are Locked On Hornets, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
In a minute, cuz we live.
We're off with a great start here. Got paint on my face. It looked ridiculous. Getting off to a bad
You
start.
look ridiculous.
I do. Well, I tried to go, I can't paint my whole face purple. So I tried to go honeycomb, amateur hour.
Why not?
And then the B, I decided to go with that on the other cheek. You want to know why I can't go purple face? Why didn't you go blue face the whole way?
Well, I'll tell you why I didn't. I'll tell you why, because this is this painting that I've done here is artistic. It is an homage to one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, the Ultimate Warrior. Oh, yeah.
You look great.
Ultimate Warrior. Oh, I thought, yeah, was a Macho Man.
Damn it.
Not step on your.
I was about to say, 'cause I wouldn't be able to call you out on that. I have zero clue about any wrestlers. I know.
That's what I meant to do, Macho Man.
Macho Man. Start it over. Cut it. Cut this out.
Let's see.
Oh, we're live.
Yeah. Sting has the face paint, right? Doesn't he go black and white?
Yeah, he
That's
does.
right. Now, this is we should know this is a visual gag. We're on HIVE Live right now on YouTube. So if you want to check us out in the face paint, this face painting was something that we promised that we would do. We would look ridiculous if we got to 1,000 subscribers, which we did. I'm going to open up the chat in just a minute and see what brace myself for the comments.
It's your fault, people. This is all your fault.
This is your doing. So what do you have on your face there, Walker? What are you featuring there in your artistry?
Yeah, I mean, what I tried to do was I tried to give a little bit of a B right here. Now, this is drawing reverse in the mirror, figuring out how I can do it. I think it's you can tell that's a B, right? Like, I feel better about this being a Hornet or a B than this being honeycomb, but
right.
You kind of went B emoji.
Well, yeah, this is the one right here, this shape. If I had to do it all over, I feel like I could have evened this one out a little bit better.
Not so much here or here, but right in here.
I mean, right there. Yeah, this is it's not great.
I've got it in my beard right now. I don't know if this is going to wash out. I don't know how, I ordered this off of Amazon. I did not really look into the company. I think it's called Snazaroo or something. I don't know where it's from. I don't know what it's made of. I just put it on my face. It could be toxic. It could be burning my flesh right now. It could be making me lose my beard hair forever. But this is what we do for fans of Locked On Hornets. We talk Hornets and we look ridiculous.
We do. I mean, we don't even have to have the face paint to look or sound ridiculous. We just do anyway. But now we look even worse considering everything that's going on with us right now. And you know what's even better? We get to talk about a double overtime, brutal, painful loss in the midst of what is a bad stretch to go into the All-Star break. Everybody's having a great time on Fun Friday. It's Locked On Hornets. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. Local experts. On the Locked On Podcast Network.
Yeah, I mean, look, if experts don't look like this, I don't know what they look like. Okay.
We take ourselves very seriously. Find us
we
on
got
Twitter.
some comments. You may read the comments?
Sure.
Already.
Oh,
Tyler comments, y'all were supposed to start 10 minutes ago. What's up? If you're watching, I think you understand.
Please.
What is up?
Please cut us some slack. Sorry,
We
Tyler.
needed a moment.
Tyler,
to get our faces right.
You didn't want to see the other way, Tyler. Trust me.
No, it was bad. Is there any other comments, or did you?
Well,
just leave
Tyler's
one
saying
to
Doug and
Tyler?
Walker must be busy doing final touch-ups on their face paint. That's correct.
Nice call.
Let's see, Walker, you got to have someone else do your painting next time.
Oh no!
Yeah.
See, I tried my
Oh,
best.
come
I figured I was going
on.
to get those comments.
Come on,
yeah.
guys.
Yeah, I mean, I went the extra mile, and I probably ran a half mile, but still, I tried to go that way.
Yeah. So I like what you've done, Walker. I
Thank
like
you.
what I've done. I think we've done the job here. We've given the people what they want. So let's talk some Hornets. Brutal loss last night. My God.
So we were having this conversation at the radio station yesterday. How bad or good could this win or loss be, considering it's an 8-day rest period that you're going to have with All-Star break? You've been going down in an awful spiral so far. If you beat Miami, that's a good win, but then you don't have a ton of momentum that you can build upon that because it is the All-Star break. You are going to have such a rest. If you lose, it's the number one team in the Eastern Conference. The Miami Heat is a very good basketball team. I didn't know what kind of feelings we'd be experiencing. What I did not account for was the fact that it could happen like that in double overtime, having all of those minutes extra. LaMelo fouling out, Miles Bridges, Kelly Oubre gives you one good quarter. Like, just, it seemed, I didn't account for how excruciating it could be. Yet there it was, losing in double overtime to Miami. How is everybody feeling after that loss, considering all the circumstances?
I didn't think it could be more brutal than the Heat holding the Charlotte Hornets to 8 points in a third quarter, like the last matchup. But somehow, factoring in the fact that they were leading for most of this game and the referees took it away from the Charlotte Hornets, this made this all the more brutal. And David, they needed this win so badly.
They need them all. I mean, my gosh, the Wizards are creeping up on the Hornets now for the play-in. That's where we are right now, guys.
We're talking about play-in.
Don't play in.
Play in.
And usually no, that was
man?
I think that was
It's cool.
All right, I got it.
That was
Ultimate
Duff
Warrior.
Man.
I got it here.
Duff
Okay.
Man.
All right, here's Ultimate Warrior. Brother. Right? That's Ultimate
That's
Warrior.
Hulk Hogan, bro.
Oh, damn it.
I knew that. What? Why are you just spitting out catchphrases that have nothing to do?
Stop going to the
Can
wrestling.
you smell what the Ultimate Warrior is cooking?
Oh, no. I thought we were going to talk Super Bowl for a second. But I don't like to blame the refs, but I think anyone is well within their rights to lay blame on whatever that clown show of an officiated game was yesterday. I mean, my God, what in the hell was that 3-point call? There's two refs looking right at it. EC and DC gave my man a little bit more credit than I think he deserves, saying somehow his left shoe was blocking out the vision, the look to his right shoe, which was clearly over the line. But look, the Hornets should have won that game regardless. The referees just did not help, and it's just an extra, gut punch to lose that way. You had to feel like the comeback was coming, but to win it, and then win it in overtime, and then have another free throw, not go in that could win the game. Just brutal.
Yeah,
David,
go ahead.
The officials have to get that right. I mean, we always talk.
You have replay.
How many times do they replay during a game? How much doubt
they
do
spent 2 minutes replaying a block charge call, one of the 80,000 that Kyle Lowry slipped under somebody. They reviewed that.
The explanation is almost more infuriating than the actual non-call. The referees telling Rod Boone after the game that the reason they didn't stop it and review it is that they didn't have any doubt at the time.
Well, it was an admission.
Half his foot was over the line.
It was an admission. God. It was an admission that they messed up. The ref is like, unfortunately, we just didn't think there was any doubt at the time. It just shows how badly mistaken they were. And I think the officials recognized that. It was an awful blown call. And James Borrego, speaking after the game, just defeated, talking about, look, I think in the response to a question that was asked when he said, do you plan on filing a complaint? He's like, look, we're going to get the 2-minute report. They're going to say they missed it. We're going to move on. We're going to take this L, and that's the only thing that we can do, which is true.
It's
like you can file a complaint all you want to, but you are not going to get a victory from this. Has that ever happened? Has there ever been an overturned dub L?
We almost saw it, I guess. Who was it against where they gave us the 4-point play on the shot that never went in? There was talk of a protest.
So this has happened. This referee debacle has happened twice to the Charlotte Hornets in the past 2 weeks. The last time it was in the Cleveland Cavaliers game. They missed the call that they admitted they were wrong about with the Terry Rozier 3 that became a 4-point play that never should have been a 3-point play, much less a 4-point play. Right. But then the referees also jobbed the Hornets in that game, calling a foul that resulted in 2 free throws for Kevin Love at the very end, which should have been a call on the floor. The point of all of this is the Hornets cannot catch a break.
Yeah, I think you could protest. I think protesting this game and then winning it would be the most Kyle Lowry way to win a game. So I'm fully in favor of them protesting.
you can be in favor of it, but they won't win it. And the reason why, because it's very rare. It's very rare that they actually go back and replay anything. But when you consider that there was so much that happened after that, they're not going to really go back and say like,
sorry, we can't rewind.
Well, that's my point. Like it's not rare to see awful missed calls. Hell, Tom Haberstroh was just tweeting about Buddy Hield having a 2-point shot worth 3 or vice versa, literally the night before. So we see this stuff happen a decent amount. It's just not in that context where it decides a game at the end of a contest as well. Like, I don't know of a game actually being overturned, and maybe that's something somebody else could find out there, but I don't know where there's ever been a complaint filed and then the refs, NBA being like, you're right, our bad. This is going to now count as a win in the standings and an L for the other team in the standings.
Yeah.
I've never seen that before. And so James Borrego is right. Like, there's just nothing you can do. And that's what makes this harder to swallow. And also, as you mentioned, look, Montrezl Harrell, man, was awesome in the fourth quarter. How great is it to have a post scorer that can go get you a bucket, run a 2-man game with Melo that is so pretty and nasty at the same time, feed him on the low block, let him go to work against Bam Adebayo, no less, and get some either one, a foul drawn on him, or 2, actually get a bucket. He goes to the foul line, hits the first, misses the second. You know, this is the second game that it's happened. Miles Bridges had the same thing happen to him where he missed the first one, made the second to go into overtime or have this tie ball game. Like that makes it all that much more excruciating. And that's something Borrego talked about too.
All right, so I'm gonna clean a little bit of this up. So a team has filed a protest before and replayed part of a game. It wasn't an overturned victory, but this happened back in 2008. The Heat and the Hawks replayed the final minute of a previous game because Shaquille O'Neal, the official score ruled incorrectly that Shaquille O'Neal fouled out. So they went back and replayed the final seconds of that game. And I just want to say this stat that I found on Montrezl Harrell. I looked at his on-off stats since he's been with the Charlotte Hornets. When he's on the court, offensive rating 111. When he's off the court, 103. Defensive rating when he's on the court, 100.7. When he's off the court, 114.7. And he's coming off the bench. That's the impact that you're seeing Montrezl Harrell have on the Charlotte Hornets team.
Yeah. Go ahead, David.
It's a beautiful thing to watch at times. I mean, you're seeing some of the same pick and rolls, you know, the dives to the rim that we've seen from other players on the roster, but LaMelo's just found him in the perfect place. He's catching it and going up and scoring. I mean, that added punch was huge last night. And you just felt horrible for him because he wanted that free throw. He wanted that free throw so bad. And he tweeted out after the game. And he's been such a boost for this team. And hopefully that's something you can take out of this game, right, guys? Like, if you're tuning in now, yes, we're complaining about the refs. We're speaking for all of Hornets Nation, but I think you can take some of that if you're looking for momentum, Walker, Harrell's got to be something that you count on, coming back from the All-Star break, saying, all right, this is a little bit of energy, a little bit of, influx of offense we can give to this lineup and hopefully carry that towards the end of the season here. But man, that's just so deflating.
Yeah, I mean, he is an energy drink for this team. I mean, you watch him go to work, offensive glass, at least tapping it around, so it's not just an easy rebound for the opposing team. And then you watch him score. You watch him on those dives that LaMelo is able to feed for him. How about good hands, right? Like actually being able to catch a pass that's a little off the mark. There was the bucket at the end where LaMelo threw it a little high. Great look, right? It was an excellent pass, a great look considering the circumstance, but it was still a tough catch. Montrez grabs it, finishes, and boom, we're talking about a couple of overtimes after that because of that play that was made by that 2-man game that has been so very good, and it was so good last night.
Yeah, this was a complicated game because there were good things to take away from it and pretty bad things to take away from it, and then some excruciating things to take away from it. We've spent a lot of time talking about the officiating because we don't talk a lot about officiating on this show, but this was particularly terrible. But Danny on the chat saying, I get the anger with the officiating, but we had multiple chances to put the game away. Being 4 of 11 in our last 15 has been exhausting. I just think it's time to accept that this isn't a serious basketball team. When I say the game, this is me now, when I say the game is complicated, it's because of what Walker mentioned at the top of this segment. Kelly Oubre gives you one quarter, you think he's back, and then an awful second half, finishes the game with a pretty terrible shooting percentage. Once again, cannot dig himself out of the hole. LaMelo Ball throws some passes and makes some plays at the end of regulation and in overtime where you go, wow, like these are elite type plays. He is taking over. And over the past 5 or 6 games, he has become their primary scorer. He's starting to evolve into the thing that can make him a superstar. But then he fouls out in the most crucial period of the game because, and we've seen this multiple times from LaMelo this season, picking up ticky-tack fouls that add up and either take him out of the game completely or force Borrego to be a little bit more careful with his playing time. And it's just frustrating. It's excruciating. And as Danny on the chat said, it is exhausting at this point. We are all ready for the All-Star break.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, we are. There's no doubt about it. 8 games, I keep saying that. 8 days rest for the Hornets. They desperately need it. There's no doubt. And you could have worn the Big Dub hat today, possibly to complete.
I really wanted to.
Your outfit, all of that. But you can't put it on after a loss like that. It's really tough. Maybe you could have had that call actually counted. Let's talk more about this game besides the officiating. Football might be over for the season, but basketball is in full steam for both pro and college hoops. From all the latest odds, totals, player performance props to where the next fired coach is going to land, BetOnline.net is the #1 spot for all your sports betting needs. BetOnline remains the best spot for all your sports scores, podcasts, and news this season. It's not just basketball, by the way. BetOnline.net is your source for hockey, boxing, UFC odds, right to the Olympic coverage and information. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more about the trends and the action. BetOnline, where the game starts. We talk more about this Heat loss coming up next on the Locked On Hornets podcast.
This is Locked On Hornets.
Then I clicked on M. Thomas. I'm like, who in the hell is M. Thomas? Matt Thomas is his name.
Matty Thomas. Matt
he
Thomas. I'm pretty sure Matt Thomas served me at an Applebee's the other day.
It's time for more of the Locked On Hornets podcast.
You talk about some of the player mistakes, and Danny on the chat, like Danny at the chat or on the chat? What do you guys say?
Yeah, it's always been Danny on the chat. He's been a long time listener, viewer of the show. Thank you for your support. You may only be one of the 1K, but you've been with us a long time, and we really appreciate it.
You're the one.
It's always called him Daniel Tap, but Daniel on the chat. I know Nada does that too. So Daniel on the chat, Danny on the chat.
Daniel on the chat. What is like? It's so formal.
Daniel, my manual.
Plenty of mistakes made in this game with the Charlotte Hornets. Where do you want to start? Because, I mean, Kelly Oubre, I thought we were going to get a crazy game from him where you have the 10 3-pointers made, but it was the second quarter where I believe he hits all 4 of his 3-pointers. He goes 4 of 6 in that second quarter. He plays the entirety of the second quarter, and that was the only source of offense from him. He would score 14 points in the second. He would score 1 point, hitting 1 free throw in the first, would come up empty the rest of the way. Goose egg in the third, the fourth, overtime, double overtime, did not matter. And that was brutal from Kelly. Terry Rozier also just nowhere to be found offensively. 2 field goals entirely, 1 made 3-pointer, only 3 assists, only a couple of rebounds, 5 points. You know, it's not been a good stretch for Terry for a while now. And when both of those guys are missing or just not taking shots, it's going to be really hard for Charlotte to win. And they had their chances last night. That's what's crazy. Despite Kelly, despite Terry, they still had their chances and still couldn't get it done.
Yeah, where was Terry? I mean, no minutes in the fourth quarter. I mean, barely had any
played
impact.
36 total, by the way. Like, I know overtime helps, but
everybody else played 50.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, I know. I mean, we haven't heard there's like anything wrong or he was out or sick. It felt like just JB was trying to go with what was the hot hand, I guess, there. But I don't know. That's another weird thing. You know, it's all these little things. It's all these attention to detail things. It's the boneheaded plays in between, possessions that are happening. Miles has one about every game where you're just like, what are you doing? What are you thinking?
Yeah, multiple in this one.
Yeah. And I mean, they're pressing right now. They are really trying any way they can to get a win, and you got to feel for them, but they have got to lock in for the full time and 2 overtimes if that's what it takes, because, you know, especially when you're going against the Heat, man. I mean, they're pulling out every stop. They're pulling out, literally pulling every arm, pulling everything they can to get the refs on their side. Not complaining against the refs again. That's just kind of how they play. But you got to adjust. You got to play that game. When you're in the game, you have to play the game, you know, how it's going. So they're going to have to figure that out over this All-Star break. But yeah, plenty of things to just, you know, scratch your head about last night. I was pumped about the Oubre comeback. I tweeted right at you guys in your faces that you guys have been talking bad about Oubre, and he heard about it. But apparently, you know, one quarter was enough for him.
A little too early on those tweeter fingers. Yeah, I got to give props to PJ in this game. Did not have a great game in the last contest on Tuesday. Only 3 points. He scores 15 in this one on 6 of 15 shooting. Was 0 of 4 from 3, but made his impact known. 14 rebounds in this game. That's excellent. And he had the defensive play on Butler to help send it into double overtime. So, you know, you get different guys stepping up, but they can't really get any consistency. I mean, it has been a roller coaster in every sense of the word, and right now the Hornets are at the bottom of that roller coaster. I still have hope. 22 games left to play. I understand that their backs are against the wall right now, but they should get healthier at the end of this All-Star break. And I'm not declaring this season dead yet.
Yeah, 22 games really put it in perspective for me when James Borrego was talking about that. See, you kind of used it as a positive, and I looked at that. I was like, oh my God, there's only 22 games left. This is a little worse than I thought.
You got to get on a streak. You got to get on a hot one. Hot salami.
Yeah. That's the second time in 2 shows you've gone with hot salami. So are you hungry? Have you had hot salami recently?
I'm just trying out catchphrases.
Okay. That's fine. That's okay. I think the positive here were LaMelo and his ability to facilitate. 14 assists for LaMelo in this game, only 5 turnovers, 10 rebounds. Thought came up with some big boards too, did LaMelo. Didn't have the shot.
A lot of good stuff.
Yeah, didn't have the shot working for him from deep, but like that's actually not been true of him this month. The whole team been struggling, and you can kind of inadvertently mention LaMelo in that same kind of area, but really he's actually been fine from 3-point land this month overall. Not in this game. We gave Trez, maybe Trez gets the game ball. Like he was just so good in the fourth quarter. Sure. And then PJ, you mentioned PJ defensively was fantastic. I think even offensively, he put the ball on the deck a lot more and actually finished some at the rim, like not as much as you would like him to, but had the big layup at the end of regulation, was putting the ball on the deck and doing a pretty good job of doing that. I want to have a conversation about Miles real quickly before we move on to the next segment, because you might look at the box score and think 50 minutes, 10 of 21, you know, the 3-point shot isn't working. He actually hit 6 of 7 of his free throws. But I mean, the backdoor cuts, guys, like it's so bad. It has to stop at some point. When Anthony Edwards beats you off the back door against Minnesota, and then it happens again in a crucial moment, you can go earlier where he gets beat backdoor by PJ Tucker. I thought they did an awful, awful job defending the corners last night. I mean, Kelly Oubre gets screened constantly and doesn't account for Bam Adebayo going into his back. Mason Plumlee isn't going to go out there for whoever is going to be the 3-point shooter. Miles Bridges, if he is out there, he's not going to account for anything. I thought Miles was really, really bad defensively. And it's tough to watch because you want to give him all this credit for attacking the basket, finishing some of these shots, even though he still missed some bunnies last night. But guys, like defensively, you know, Miles was really bad and hurt this team. And that needs to fix itself for a guy that is considered an all-star, at least a potential all-star for this squad.
And that's the thing, right? I mean, I think the one thing that stood out to me over the last, 10 games, feels like 25, but like if you had that guy on this team, things would be a little different. And I just don't think we do as of yet. I mean, we've seen the last 2 games, that guy on other teams, Karl-Anthony Towns, Jimmy Butler, you know, the guys that are just willing to take or can take over the game and get a win for their team. And that's, you know, that's all fast phases of the game there, guys. Defense, locking in on defense, not fouling, of course, hitting the big shot. But yeah, Miles, they've got to clean that up. look, LaMelo, if he gives another foul, then they should take him out of the game. I don't know how, like, he can't give up these cheap fouls anymore throughout the game because he's going to foul out. And when he's off the floor, that kills him. So I guess maybe
it did kill him last night when LaMelo was off the floor because Borrego was scared that he was going to pick up more fouls. And, in the third quarter, you look at his plus minus, LaMelo had one of the better ones, +1, and all the starters did not have a +1. Miles Bridges was -23. Mason Plumlee -13 in his 14 minutes. Terry Rozier was -13. The starters had a lot of minuses except for LaMelo. And you got to think this was somebody that sat out a lot of the third quarter.
Second straight game, the Hornets have been really overwhelmed by the opposing team's superstar imposing their will. Jimmy Butler, you knew the ball was going to be in his hands. Kyle Lowry dropping threes all over the place. I mean, these are top tier players that are knocking out the Hornets. So I can take at least a little bit of solace from that it isn't, it isn't the bench wrench. It isn't the ninth player on the bench coming out of nowhere. And it's a case of the Hornets not really paying attention to the scouting report. They're in these games. That's why I haven't lost hope. I know someone in the chat said hope is a killer, but I'm going to hold on to hope, baby, as long as I can. And what I'm hoping is that a little bit of health and a little bit of a break and a little bit of a refocus, and the Hornets can come back and make some things happen. Only 22 games, but we've seen, the year that they made the last time we've seen the Hornets in the playoffs, 2015, 2016. I know the All-Star break was, there were more games after the All-Star break in that case, but they went on a super hot streak in that little final frame, and that propelled them into the tiebreaker for possibly the 4th seed. They ended up the 6th seed. But I think this team is capable of doing the same thing if they can clean up some of these detail pieces.
All right. This is a very serious Hornets podcast. We appreciate you joining us for all of our criticism, all of our analysis, because we do not look ridiculous doing this at all. We are very serious. This is the time of year that I've pretty much given up on my life. Look at my face, but also my New Year's resolution. But not this year.
Not that bad.
This got dark really quickly.
Double overtime. I've got face paint. Somebody made fun of my face paint despite all my hard work on this B. But my New Year's resolution, guys, because of Built Bar. Built Bar has given me a new meaning to life and trying to figure out how I can stay fit. Plus, they're low in calories, low in sugar, high in protein, and high in fiber. Go to Built.com. Use promo code LOCKED15 and get 15% off your order. Use promo code LOCKED15 for 15% off at Built.com, and you can get some of those delicious flavors, some of the staples that are so good. Also, you have the marshmallow puff that is infused with protein. It's great. Built.com, promo code LOCKED15. Get 15% off your order at Built.com. One more segment to go on the Locked On Hornets podcast.
You are listening to the Locked On Hornets podcast.
Main character for American Psycho was Patrick Bateman, which really confused me. I always thought that Jason Bateman was Patrick Bateman and that Patrick Bateman was Jason Bateman.
It's time for more of the Locked On Hornets podcast.
Do you feel like your face movement is restricted because of the paint on your face, Doug? How weird does it feel to you?
Yeah, I think I accidentally bought teal-colored concrete. I don't believe this was actually face paint.
It's not going to come off. You're going to have to figure out a way to get that off, and I don't know how.
I think you guys have to leave it on to the Hornets win again. Sorry.
I think that's probably true. I'll just walk around like this. The honeycomb that doesn't exactly have the best. What is it? A hexagon? Is that a pentagon? I don't know. I think that's pentagon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. I can count and do math at the same time. And then there's a B. Yeah, it looks so brutal. Go to YouTube. Check us out. We are embarrassing ourselves here on the Locked On Hornets podcast. After the All-Star break, 22 games left in the season. What are some of the things that you think the Hornets can actually get better at? And, how much is this break actually going to help the Hornets with all of the shooting woes that they've experienced, maybe gelling a little more with Montrezl Harrell? What kind of hope are you looking at here in the last 22 games of the season?
Yeah, that's the one I'm looking at, to have a little more time with Montrezl on the floor, especially with LaMelo. It'll be interesting to see maybe if he starts games. He didn't start last night, did he?
He did not.
Okay, we'll see how JB plays that, but certainly health. I mean, that's always the biggest thing for this team. Getting Gord back out there, have a veteran presence on the floor during these games, I hope would help, some of these leads that are going by the wayside. And the shooting, I mean, look, you can talk about strategy and defense and whatever else you want. This team was winning a lot of games because they were scoring a lot of points and hitting a lot of threes. I don't think they hit a three in the third quarter last night or the fourth. Certainly not enough. So the shooting's got to come back if they want to make a push for this thing. Hopefully it will. Hopefully these guys chill out over the next 8 days or whatever and get some of those shots to fall when they come back. I mean, they're not going to all of a sudden turn into, a defensive team, right? They're not all going to start clamping down on people. So they got to go back to what made them successful. And hopefully Montrezl can bring some of that energy. And look, they are better when they have those two big guys in there. To your point, Walker, like he's not stopping everything at the rim, but like he's bouncing up there. He's causing havoc. He's doing something that they didn't have before. So I think that's the biggest thing. More time with Montrezl, and hopefully his shooting returns.
Yeah, I mean, I think a rest is going to help, but I think just not having the all-star break to look forward to say, all right, we just got to get to the break. We just got to get to the break.
Yeah.
And I don't know if those guys are necessarily thinking that way, but it's a young team. It's an inexperienced team. And I think that's something that a young and inexperienced team might do is say, all right, let's just get to the break and we'll regroup. They don't have that. The pressure will be all on them to make something happen. The race to the playoffs will truly begin. And I think that will help them kind of refocus and figure some things out. And I wouldn't mind, honestly, a shakeup to the starting lineup at this point. The starting lineup hasn't done anything in my mind to justify keeping things the same.
And look, where are they losing these games? They're not winning the fourth quarter or the first quarter. They're not winning the first quarter. They're not winning these overtime games because they're waiting 2 and 3 minutes to get going. I mean, something there, and it's not necessarily the same lineup, but that mindset has to change. They can't come out and lose these first quarters. They're 0-6 in overtimes. Everyone was tweeting that out. Thank you. We get it. 0-6. Yeah. So there's something there, right? There's something there. There's something there with being ready or whatever, but coming out energized. The first game of the season, we get back to that. JB was kind of semi-complaining about the crowd wasn't in their seats. I don't think it's the crowd's fault anymore.
Oh, guys. No, it wasn't. I will say a lot of Heat cheers last night.
Oh, come on. What is happening?
There was like, I know the first game I've been to in a while, and there were a lot of Heat jerseys, a lot of Dwayne Wade fans, a lot of Bam, like lots and lots of Miami Heat stuff. And they were pretty loud. Now the Hornets would get loud at crucial moments too. But I mean, I don't know how to describe, maybe like, it's teetering on 50-50 on what I experienced, maybe 60-40. And
StubHub Warriors out there.
You had
that's going to be the
17,000.
Yeah, and that's going to be the case. I think, Charlotte is what it is. It's getting better, but like when these big marquee teams are coming in, you're going to have voices from the other fans. That's just another thing that this group is going to have to get over. They're going to have to get over the officials. They're going to have to not worry about this. They're not going to get any breaks from the officials down the stretch in a lot of these games. And they're going to have to accept that, it's got to move on from that. You have to adjust to what's going on in the game. And that's part of growing up too.
Well, and just real quickly, looking at the rotation, like you talk about the starters and maybe even switching it up, how they haven't been very good. You can see who James Borrego feels most comfortable with. It's PJ Washington now running the 4, and I think maybe that's kind of contributed to him putting the ball on the floor a lot more. Miles Bridges running the 3, LaMelo and Terry in the backcourt. All of those players had at least 35 minutes or more. The other two, Kelly Oubre, who had 38, Montrezl, who had 43. Mason Starks only gets 14. And James Bouknight gives you 7 minutes, and that's it. So did not play a whole lot. JT Thor got some minutes and only 15. And then JT Thor was taken out. So you're seeing basically 6 players that Borrego is going to go with a lot and then try to make up some minutes while McDaniels, Martin, and Gordon Hayward's out. Like Mason, JT Thor, and Bouknight are those other guys that are kind of combined into one player for you.
It's crazy because they're going to Montrezl. They're drawing up plays for him. They are looking to run offense through him.
They had a great play for Montrezl that led to an easy bucket. LaMelo hit him with the assist.
Yeah, so if you're looking for a spark, that's what I'm doing. I'm putting him in the starting lineup. I'm hoping his just energy and overall vibe juices this team up to start games, and you get an extra jump there. So maybe JB will do that, maybe not. We'll see. But it's crazy to me how quickly he's become like a key cog in this offense when he wasn't here for most of the year.
LaMelo Ball is going to be in the All-Star weekend. He's going to be in the All-Star game. He's going to be, I want to talk about that. He's going to be in the Rising Stars Challenge. He actually met with the media today, and I have a clip I'd like to play in just a moment, so stick around for that because he's getting me hyped up. He got me hyped up for this All-Star weekend, and I have to share it with everyone. But I just want to kind of say this to wrap up our conversation. It's hard to remember, but there was a time this season when the Charlotte Hornets could beat anybody. And we believed they could beat anyone. Top of the Eastern Conference, top of the Western Conference. They were doing great
G
things.
League, whatever.
And they were healthy. And that's what they have to get back to. And I think they can do it. And I told everyone I've painted my face as an homage to my favorite pro wrestler, the Ultimate Warrior. And as the Ultimate Warrior would always say, to be the man, you got to beat the man. And that's the bottom line.
That's right. Thank you.
That's what he would say.
Thank you for ending that. Are we ending the show? Did you want to play that?
No, I want to talk All-Star.
What do you want me to do? Let's talk
David,
All-Star.
David is our All-Star expert. David, are you excited about this All-Star weekend? If you're not, I've got a clip to play for you. But tell me, are you excited for this All-Star weekend?
I'm excited for all All-Star weekends. I'm not going to let the refs steal my joy. I'm not going to let the Hornets downplay this for me. Yes, I'm excited. Now I have some nits to pick, but go ahead and play your clip because I think we could all use.
All right, so this was LaMelo Ball meeting the media for the first time as an All-Star weekend, the Rising Stars Challenge coming up. Someone asked him, what are your plans for the All-Star weekend? You got 2 games to play in. What are you thinking here? Let's listen to what he had to say.
Listen, really going out there, just doing what you love. It's always gonna be fun. I feel like so. Pretty much just going out there having fun. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah! Woo!
Why do you think they start off slow?
That's what the Ultimate Warrior would say. Woo!
That's right. I was gonna say you had to drop that one in there. You had to drop some kind of woo reference, but that's exactly what LaMelo makes us all feel. He's gonna be a lot more exciting than actually telling us about how exciting it's gonna be.
He's much more exciting. He does much more exciting things. He is much more exciting than he does not like. Well, I don't know. I'm not going to say what he does or doesn't like. He doesn't appear to enjoy talking about things with the media.
He's a hooper, baby. He just hoops, man.
That's what he wants to do. So hopefully LaMelo will give us some fun stuff to watch. This All-Star game should be a great time to watch him play. And real quickly, I guess I do want to get David your thoughts on the skills challenge. You got some nits to pick there, right? The skills challenge
doing?
Is it just going to be a disaster this weekend?
Yeah, they've made a mockery of the skills challenge. Let's be honest, guys. I mean, American Treasure, dates back, I don't know, 4 or 5 years.
To our founding fathers. Founding fathers.
This is not what they envisioned, okay?
They did the greatest skills challenge, liberating this country from the English.
Yeah, I mean, they've got the Antetokounmpo brothers out there as one team. They've got Cleveland as one team. And then they've got a bunch of rookies. I don't know. I'm disappointed in what they decided to do with the skills challenge. If you're going to go, we talked about this. If you're going to go brother versus brother, let's do it. Let's get the Ball brothers. Let's get the Plumlee brothers. Bring the Zeller brothers back. Let's get the Martin twins in there. Let's get the brothers in there, brother. But we'll see how it goes. They tinker with this thing every year. My other nit is 4 dunkers again. We can get 12 guys shooting 3-pointers, but only 4 guys want to dunk. Cole Anthony's a sleeper pick there for me, by the way, guys.
I actually have zero clue. Who are the other ones in it?
Obi Toppin, Cole Anthony, Jalen Green, and Juan Toscano. No, that's not right. See, I mean,
Star-studded. I think it's a great strategy to get us all to stop being upset about the scoring, is just to put players in there that we don't care about at all.
I'd like to see a new event, maybe like teams of referees, have them review a play, right? Time them on this, whoever takes the longest, right, gets to
replay relay.
I mean, let's just do that. Let's bring everything.
Well, I like that. I've said it for years. You want to change the skills challenge? I got 2. I've been saying this for years. I've got two options for you, NBA. 1, tables, ladders, and chairs. Number 2, which I like even more, the floor is lava. We bring in actual lava. Stakes are the highest. We're talking about life or death. Then we'll see how skilled those Antetokounmpo brothers Really
Right.
are.
Can you imagine some NBA player getting injured because he's trying to crawl on the stadium chairs to avoid
Not
the lava
injured,
floor?
not injured. Consumed by lava,
Mhm.
as seen in the movie Volcano, when the guy falls off the subway car and it's like, "Ah!"
A Woj bomb drops. Somebody is out 4 to 6 weeks because he got consumed by molten hot lava. All right. Thanks for making Locked On Hornets your first listen every day. Check us out on YouTube, where we're doing embarrassing stuff like this all the time. Also, check us out anywhere you get your podcast. We'll be back with you on Monday. Now, make your second listen Locked On Bets. It's your daily one-stop shop for all your gambling needs. Locked On Bets is hosted by your boy Q, with expert analysis and insight from Lee Sterling. It's free and available on all platforms. Thanks to David for joining us. Thanks to Doug for painting his face. Kind of not thank you for making me paint mine. I don't know what you're doing with your wings. We will be back with you
Flapping,
on
baby.
Monday.
We're going to stanging.
Have a great weekend.